I had seen oceans before, but I had never seen one waiting. The day I reached Nantucket, the sky above the harbor looked bruised, like something had struck it and left it sore. I did not come to sea for glory. I came because land had grown too small for my thoughts. When a man cannot outrun his own mind, he runs to the horizon. At the inn, I met a harpooner with eyes like polished stone. He spoke little, but the silence around him felt trained, as if he had learned to keep fear from showing. On his wrist were carvings, not decoration, protection. The ship was called the Pequod. Her boards were old, her ropes scarred, her hull stained dark, as if the sea had tried to keep her once, and failed. When I stepped onto her deck, I felt I had stepped onto something already being mourned. Before I ever saw Captain Ahab, I heard about him. A sailor spat into the water and said, "He's got a leg made of hate now." Another laughed too loudly and added, "And a heart that's worse." That first night aboard, I shared a meal with the crew. Someone leaned close, voice low. "You're new," he said, "so listen." He told me the captain's story like a man reciting a curse. Ahab killed a calf, the sailor whispered, not for food, not for need. He stared at his bowl as if it had turned to seawater. He did it to prove he could. The mother whale watched, he continued. Didn't thrash, didn't flee. Her eye was not angry. It was empty, like something had been taken from her. She just looked at him, like she was memorizing his bones. The lantern light flickered. Someone muttered. That's when the sky started falling. Another sailor joined in, almost eager to speak it aloud. Ahab carried a map, he said. Kept it in his trousers pocket like a holy thing. A map to Treasure Island. The words tasted foolish, until the room went quiet. They told it fast, like men do when they fear a story might grow teeth. The mother came back, the sailor said, white as a scar, quiet as a prayer. She hid his ship. And when Ahab crawled back onto the deck, he swallowed. His leg was gone. The sailor's eyes found mine. And the map, he said. The sea took it. He shook his head like the thought made him sick. Some say the whale took it on purpose. On the third day of my voyage, Ahab came on deck. He did not walk out like a captain. He arrived like a storm arrives, as if the ship had been holding its breath until then. His face was hard-carved. His gaze did not travel. It struck. He called the crew to him. Men, he said, we hunt whales to fill barrels. A few nodded. Then his voice dropped, heavy and final. But we sailed for one. He lifted his hand like he meant to seize the world by the throat. He said the name, and the air tightened. MOBY. Even the sea seemed to hold still, not in fear, but like a room that remembers a funeral. I had heard names shouted at sea, commands, curses, prayers, but that word did not leave his mouth like speech. It fell like an anchor. From that moment, I understood something simple and terrifying. Ahab was not chasing a whale. He was chasing the shape of his own loss. He spoke of the sea as if it owed him, as if the world had stolen from him first. That is how sickness sounds, when it learns to speak. We sailed. The ocean lay flat as hammered metal. No playful chop, no easy spray, only a wide stillness that made my skin crawl. Water should move. This water waited. A gull drifted past us, dead. Its eye was open. It did not bob like it should. It slid beside us as if pushed by an invisible hand. No one touched it. No one joked. Days passed. We sailed farther than any sensible captain would. The air grew colder. The horizon bent strangely, like a smile held back. At night I dreamed the sea was a throat, and our ship was a bone sliding down it. The ocean began to leave us gifts, a circle of bones, a rope not drifting alone, a harpoon rusted as if it had aged 100 years in one tide, and once floating alone, a small, pale rib no bigger than my hand, as if the ocean wanted us to remember. What started this? Each morning the crew called it coincidence. Each night they slept with their hands clenched. We met another vessel on open water. Their captain stared at Ahab as if seeing a dead man walking. "Turn back," he called. "Whatever you seek, leave it." Ahab did not answer. The other captain's voice cracked. "That white thing isn't a whale anymore. It's a mother. And she's still looking for what was taken from her." After that, the men feared the water, but I feared the man steering, because the sea was honest, cold, vast, indifferent. Ahab was not indifferent. He was certain. And certainty is the most dangerous wave of all. Near dusk, the ocean changed texture. Not rough, not calm. Alert, a pale ridge rose ahead. Not splashing, not thrashing. Simply lifting from the deep, like a thought surfacing. Moby. She was too white to be natural, too silent to be flesh. When she rose, it wasn't rage that I felt. It was the weight of a lullaby that had been cut short. She moved like grief moves, quiet, inevitable, unstoppable, not angry, not cruel, only certain. And the sea beneath her felt like a throne. Ahab roared the command. Harpoons flew. Ropes hissed out. Boats dropped into black water like insects. Men shouted prayers to gods they did not mean. But the ocean did not answer. The ocean never answers. Ahab screamed at her like she was evil. But I saw the truth in the way she circled him. She was not hunting the ship. And I understood then. She wasn't here to kill men. She was here to make one man remember. What he pretended was nothing. She was hunting the one who made her empty. And suddenly the whale did not look like a monster. She looked like a lesson. Then I saw it. A pale scrap in the water near her wake. Paper. Torn. Floating like a lie that refused to sink. The Treasure Island map. The crew gasped like children seeing a miracle. Ahab went still. For one heartbeat, he looked almost human. Ahab launched himself forward. Not at the whale, at the map. It floated beside Moby's wake, trembling on the surface, as if the sea offered it back, only to watch him reach. A rope snapped tight around his body. It wrapped his chest and arm like a knot tied by fate. "Ahab!" someone shouted, but he didn't hear us. His fingers touched the paper, just for a breath, and then the ocean moved. Moby dove. The rope went screaming after her, and Captain Ahab was pulled from the world. As easily as a coin dropped into deep water, the Pequod shuddered. Wood split. The sea rushed in, and the sky above us stayed quiet, as if it had seen this ending before. I lived, not because I deserved to, not because I was brave. only because the sea does not care enough to finish every story. I drifted alone under a sky that looked normal again, and I knew that was the cruelest part, because the world would go on, as if it had not just swallowed a ship. So I tell you what the ocean taught me. Be careful what you take to feel powerful, because the sea does not forget what you steal, and grief is stronger than any man.